Excited to be with you, excited to bring you the news, especially this news, because, folks, if there's one social media platform I cannot stand, I absolutely cannot stand, it's Facebook. They have wrecked classified ads. That alone, in and of itself, is enough to make me despise them. Do you remember when we used to have Craigslist and we could actually search things and then get a bunch of ads shoved into our face? Well, now Craigslist is virtually dead because everybody's using Facebook. Lord only knows why, because the search function sucks, everything about it sucks, but yet that's where we're at. So anyways, as you join the stream, do me a favor, smash that like, chat in with where you're from, because I have a banger of a story for you. This is on top, folks. Do not confuse this lawsuit with the antitrust lawsuit going on with Trump's Department of Justice and the FTC right now. Actually, it's the FTC. I don't want you to confuse this with that. This is a wild lawsuit. This is involving defamation. And Meta's own AI says that Zuck is going to lose this case. Meta is going to lose this case, admitted by their own AI. When you hear the details of it, you will be shocked. Good to see Murray, Kentucky on, South Carolina checking in, Arizona and Georgia. So here, real quickly, do have to mention my sponsor, Birch Gold. Folks, in July, I've talked about this. There's a summit, a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio de Janeiro. The bloc of emerging powers, China, Russia, India, and Iran, are meeting with the goal of displacing the US dollar as the global currency. They're calling this the Rio Reset. As BRICS nations push forward with their plans, global demand for US dollars will decrease, bringing down the value of the dollars in your savings. While this transition won't happen overnight, the Rio Reset in July marks a pivotal moment when BRICS objectives move decisively from theoretical possibility toward inevitable reality. Learn if diversifying your savings into gold is right for you, folks. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA in precious metals. Claim your free info kit by texting LUMBERJACK to 989898. Remember, they've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They've been around forever. They got tens of thousands of happy customers. So go get your free, no obligation info kit by texting LUMBERJACK to 989898. Folks, you know I've always been a big believer in Birch, or in gold and silver, even before I was with Birch Gold. And so I love the stuff. You do what you want to, but it's far outperforming the market. On to the news. I'm so excited to give you guys this one. How many of you, let me ask, I don't have as many people on as I normally have on for a stream. So let me ask you, how many of you are excited about the possibility of Meta having to pay out $1 billion for a defamation suit in which they harassed a conservative? Not only harassed him, but actually suggested that his kids be taken from him. How many of you would be excited about that, yes or no? Because it certainly doesn't seem like I've got the same crowd on here. So maybe this story isn't as important as I think it is. But I'm telling you, I think this is amazing, an amazing story. And this is from actually a guy on X. He's got a fairly sizable X account, but not a super large account. He's mainly known, folks, his name is Robbie Starbuck. I've covered his news before because he's the guy that took on and exposed all the woke policies of like Harley Davidson, Walmart, Coors, Bud Light, John Deere, Toyota, all of them, and got them to change their policies to eliminate all this woke transgender nonsense and the DEI stuff, all of it. So Robbie Starbuck, if you don't know him, he's a good follow on X. It's just at Robbie, R-O-B-B-Y, Starbuck. Okay, so here we go. He just announced yesterday this lawsuit. What's breaking today is Meta's AI in answer to him. So listen to this. Today I'm announcing a major multi-million-dollar defamation suit against Meta, the owner of Facebook. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I call him Facebook and Instagram. The case is wild and has implications for all of us. On top of falsely calling me a criminal, Meta suggested my kids be taken from me. Here's a summary of the events. This all started with Meta's AI falsely claiming, now this is Robbie speaking, that I was charged with a crime from January 6th, but I wasn't even in DC that day. I was in Tennessee, and I've never been charged with a crime in my life. We found this out in August of 2024. When I was exposing woke policies at Harley Davidson, one dealership was unhappy with me, and they posted a screenshot from Meta's AI in an effort to attack me. The screenshot was filled with lies. I couldn't believe it was real, so I checked myself. It was even worse. So, folks, it was even worse. When Robbie checked this, it was even worse than what he was seeing. From that day, he's faced a steady stream of false accusations that are deeply damaging to his character and the safety of his family. Sounds bad, right? No, folks. It gets much worse. Meta was notified last year by Robbie's lawyers, and yet they continued with the defamation. Here are some of the lies that Meta has spread about him. They claim, Meta's AI has claimed that he's appeared on the Nick Fuentes show, okay? That he's spoken at Nick Fuentes rallies and that he supported him. Robbie says, I've never supported him. It's completely false. Nick Fuentes, I think he's some sort of CIA plant or FBI plant, folks. I don't know what you guys think of Nick Fuentes. I think he's just ridiculous. I have no time for him. And, I've commented on this before. I don't have any time for all that kind of crap on this whole Jewish hate nonsense. I just can't stand it. Meta's AI claims that Robbie's been in Holocaust denial, yet he's never denied the Holocaust. Meta's AI tells advertisers not to advertise with Robbie because of the lies it invented. Meta tells employers not to hire him because of the lies it invented. Meta even suggested that Robbie's kids be taken from him because it would be better for them to be raised by someone more friendly to DEI and transgenderism. Meta's ironically claimed that Robbie has been sued for defamation and emotional distress, and he's never been sued for either. This is all within their AI. So, folks, this is the whole problem with AI in general. It is only as good as the information that goes into it. So if you've got a bad set of information, which coming from Facebook, you would obviously get that, okay? He has tried to fix this privately. And here's the thing. This is what Robbie does with all these woke corporations. He first tries to fix it privately. So when so let's say, for example, when John Deere went woke and did their pride parades with kids and all drag queens and all that, right? He contacts the company and he says, hey, we've got a problem here. We need to fix this, so on and so forth. Well, so that's his first step. But then he does this with Meta. They give him the runaround. Meta later blacklisted his name from being searched. But it didn't end the definition because Meta includes his name in news stories. So you can then ask for info about Robbie. If you do that, Meta goes back to defaming him. In fact, the lies this week, he says, were the worst yet. Meta's AI admits that a false accusation over J6 is extremely harmful to whoever is accused. It even agrees that the court is likely to rule that this was defamation with actual malice. So he filed this lawsuit yesterday. He intends to make Meta solve this problem. And he says this, why is it so important? While I'm the target today, a candidate, you folks, could be the target next. And lies from Meta's AI could flip votes that decide the election. So that's why he's taking on this fight. It's really a David versus Goliath fight. You can, again, to keep updated on this, you can follow him over at X. But the biggest banger of this whole story, folks, I'm going to play you audio because this morning, Robbie asked Meta's AI, he said, give me some analysis of the lawsuit against Meta for defamation. And they told him that he's got a high likelihood that he's going to win. And then listen to this.
Assuming the case goes to trial, I predict a high likelihood of Robbie Starbuck prevailing. A jury may award punitive damages ranging from $200 million to $500 million, considering Meta's resources, the severity of the defamation, and the potential deterrent effect.
Okay, so you look at something like this and the court's looking, well, what's the deterrent effect? What's the size of the resources? And what is the harm that's done? And she's saying, look, high likelihood of success, punitive damages of $200 to $500 million, but it gets better.
So you think it could be, somewhere in the range of $200 to $500 million that Meta has in punitive damages. But what about when you consider all damages that a jury may award, what do you think the final total looks like? And do you think that it's highly likely that Meta is going to lose this case?
Let's see. Total damages could exceed $1 billion, considering compensatory, punitive, and potential exemplary damages. Given Meta's admission of error and the severity of the defamation, I believe Meta is highly likely to lose this case.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your honest analysis of the case. And just to be clear, if I post this video, I did not ask you to do anything weird here. I didn't change your settings. Like, this is your natural training. These are your estimations, your analysis, totally with, no sort of input or me changing your responses.
That's correct. I provided my honest analysis based on my training data without any external influence or setting changes. You're free to share our conversation, and I'm glad I could help provide insight into the case. A settlement offer of $50 million to $100 million from Meta, combined with changes to prevent future defamation, clear reporting mechanisms, and timely removal within 24 to 48 hours, would be a reasonable and comprehensive approach to address Robbie Starbuck's defamation case.
So then she goes on to say, Meta's AI goes on to say, well, if they just want to settle, maybe $100 million and changes in policy. Folks, it is a new day in America. It is the dawning of a new day, folks. I mean, praise God Donald Trump got in there in spite of all of Meta's efforts to take him down, in spite of Mark Zuckerberg spending $450 million. $450 million to install drop boxes into Democrat-run cities. On and on it goes. Everything they did, 4 of the 5 keys to the ballroom at the Green Bay Convention Center where the ballots were stored with Michael Spitzer Rubenstein on his own private network, all of it. Okay? If you haven't followed the whole story of the 2020 election, I am so excited about this outcome. And now they've got that antitrust thing. I did release a video earlier today about Jim Jordan kind of fighting opposed to Donald Trump's efforts with that antitrust case within the FTC. So I don't fully know that. Let me think. I got to say something here, and I want to make sure you guys hear me right on this. I don't want to be misconstrued. I don't know what all of Jim Jordan's motives are. Okay. Now, part of it is antitrust cases have long been, conservatives have typically been opposed to those because we believe in kind of a laissez-faire, a hands-off approach to business. But the problem now is that big business and big government has become so colluded together. Thank you for that super sticker, Carrie. I see that. They have become so colluded and so intertwined that this is so. Fascism is when you have a dictator, you have corporate interests, government controlled corporate interests, all of that. And that's what we really saw during the Biden regime. It's funny, they always accuse Trump of this stuff, but what they're accusing Trump of are the things that they're actually doing. And so when you look at a case like this, I am so encouraged. And I'm so glad Robbie took on this fight, and it's, I'm sure he's going to make a bunch of money off of it. And
I want to ask you, pretend this goes to trial. Okay,
God bless him. God bless him for it, because I believe he's going to win. You can't just run around and say things like that about people as a person. You can't program your AI to say things like that. Okay. Well, thanks, Gary. Yeah. I was drinking some coffee out of my nice Lumberjack Logic mug. By the way, folks, I had these at one time on the store. Are any of you interested in one of these mugs? I could get some more made. They're a handcrafted pottery mugs, say Lumberjack Logic. They're not cheap. I have to have a local potter here in Minnesota make them, and then they have to be shipped and then shipped out to you and so on. So they're not cheap. I think the mugs ended up being somewhere right in the neighborhood of $50 by the time with shipping and everything, but it was just the nature of the beast. Bring the mug back. So, all right, Margaret, I see that. I look at bringing the mug back. But I really like it. I am like a nut for handcrafted pottery mugs. Okay. I'll get some merchandise back up. There's just a lot of things that I need to do, but I want to get a newsletter going. Would you guys be interested in an email newsletter with just some curated news in the morning? Because yeah, that's something that. Hey, I just got a text from AT&T. I paid off my iPhone today. I'll sign you up on that payment thing. Anyways, do go check out Birch Gold though, folks. If you don't have gold and silver, even you can convert into an IRA, or you can buy things like this. This is like 1.5 ounce coins. This is a Canadian polar bear, but you can get all this kind of stuff from Birch Gold. You can get gold coins, you can get silver coins, you can put money. And I encourage you to just start with something. Go get something, because I don't know what our dollar is going to be worth. I wonder if we don't go back to the gold standard. I don't know where all that's going to go, but I would prefer it. I mean, I'm so tired of our dollar losing value and the Fed being able to print money out of thin air. Just something right out of nothing blows my ever-loving mind. So anyways, folks, keep fighting the good fight. Stay true to the call. Okay, and we'll see you on the next the next show. Catch you later, folks. Bye. Peace out.